Wow.
All right.
That was awesome. They got out of the mansion?
Yep.
Just like
solid.
that. Very, very quality execution of their Nen abilities with regards to bringing them, I say, through the whole thing without even a scratch.
Right.
Like, it was almost easy.
Yeah. And they did a great way of showing how their abilities just resolve things quickly, so that the explanations that they gave on the abilities of how they worked felt very much worth it, because these weren't abilities that, like, that was one thing, but then you have to do all this other stuff too. It's like, no, this is an awesome ability. It just solved the problem. Like,
right. So we had Kurapika showing off his technique of blocking bullets. Blocking bullets basically extended his aura into his aura into the chains.
Yeah.
So of course it's not invulnerable, but he's able to catch the bullets with that, which is insane.
Right.
And then of course he deduced that they weren't real people based on their movements, just shows his intelligence. Mm-hmm. Also, then his lie detector bit, which then I'm really interested about, because
like, how does that work?
Using it for the purpose of divination, I get the premise of that. Mm-hmm. But the idea that Nen potentially is involved there means that the Nen that's being attached to the chains is unique. It's not just a strengthening bit. There's actually some interaction going on there to where the chains themselves could be the Nen, or it's what the Nen surrounding the chains is.
What if that was something that he figured out based on no, never mind. I was gonna say maybe he figured that out based on the string that Gon had tied around his finger, but that he wasn't around for that.
Possibly. But yeah, I don't think so.
Right.
The way that they showed how all the other Nen users used their Nen was pretty cool. But
poetry,
the haiku guy that brings things into reality. Haiku? Did I say haiku?
Yeah.
I just love that show so much. The haiku aspects of bringing something into reality based upon the verbal and written aspects of the haiku. Haiku. Jeez, that's going to be frustrating.
How is that
even fair?
Yeah, like,
I'm guessing that there's limits to what he can write on the haiku based on where his aura and Nen are at in a given moment. Also, if you think about it from a combat standpoint, it takes time to write the haiku.
That's true, but he could always have a bunch of like pre-written poems that he brings out.
But maybe that's not how it works.
Sure. There could be a whole slew of limitations on that, and there's no way he'd tell a bunch of random strangers about it.
Exactly.
You know, in that case, he actually wanted to let them know how it worked, so that way they'd be able to see that I'm using this as a lie detector. First off, don't lie, and if you do, you'll go up in flames.
Right. He could also be being essentially a manipulator and using that as a means to get what he wants.
Right.
Whereas actually what he could have done is just written something and then made the chair combust. And then he goes around and scares them into thinking that that's actually what's going to happen to them.
That's a good point.
That'd be a very good parlor trick.
Because especially since none of them, it didn't actually show that it could prove that they were lying. Mm-hmm. Because there's a big difference between being able to make something happen and being able to make something conditionally happen based on information that you don't have.
Yes, exactly. So I liked the way that his abilities are not necessarily what he said they are. It might be another misdirect thing.
Right.
And I like that I'm looking out for that because this is HunterxHunter. You want to be able to look out for misdirects.
Yeah.
But the instant love ability, that's busted. That's really strong. One of the things I was really worried about with HunterxHunter is the idea that someone could have a really powerful mental ability and they just win all the time.
Right.
Her ability to do that is exceptionally strong in the kind of the grifter standpoint. You would be an unstoppable thief.
You would.
Especially involved if any other people were involved.
Now, it's possible that after the 3 hours they realized that an ability was used on them, you know, and then which could cause problems. It could also be something where she has to basically kiss them for at least a certain amount of time.
That too, but also she might not be able to hold on to more than one slave at a time.
That's true. It could also be something where, depending on the... Like, it's not actual mind control. It just makes them basically want to do whatever she says. But,
but a proficient Nen user might be able to block it and or resist the effects.
Possibly. Although,
I don't think that necessarily
the one guy...
But...
what was his name?
Squala.
Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't able to.
No, he was not. That's true. But the idea that there were 3 manipulators in the group, according...
Was there 3?
To them? Yeah. You had the haiku guy, and then
two
plants.
and then the two plants.
I was like, that's a... Manipulator's a very common
I guess.
ability,
Kind of bums me out.
Well, no, I think about it from the perspective of the logic aspect. Maybe these types of people are professionals, and therefore people in professional fields like this tend to be more logical than others.
Plus, it could also be something where manipulators were more geared towards what they needed, so they naturally got manipulators.
Sure, that's a good point.
You know, if they're wanting to lay traps and, do all that stuff.
Right.
Now...
But I like how Kurapika didn't tell them anything about himself.
Right. The Melody didn't tell them what
she had as her specialization with huts.
And Kurapika didn't say anything. Not the name, not nothing.
Name or whatever.
But the dude, the haiku guy,
knows that he's a Kurta.
Yeah.
So they could end up fighting in the future.
Right. And the way they left off with that, I'm not sure if he'll ambush Kurapika there, because I think if he was, then they would have shown that to be like a cliffhanger,
right?
That little bit there.
But instead, they circled back to Gon and Killua.
Right, which I don't have any problem with, because it's like, hey, the fact that they're touching on all the other characters as they're moving forward is great, because that means that even if they were, say, focusing on Gon and Killua for an episode, they could still touch back over to Leorio and Kurapika and show us what they're up to.
For sure. But them showing us what's going on with Kurapika here... and bouncing back so quickly, only after an episode and a half, to Gon and Killua, means that they could be doing this quite frequently with other characters as well, like Leorio, and potentially even Hisoka, because Hisoka is at their level, I would say, as far as main characters go. So that kind of style could be really fun.
That would be
coming
pretty
up,
cool.
In the coming weeks before the official Yorknew auction whole storyline starts.
Right.
And I'm really interested to see, is it going to be a thing where the group will meet up together and they'll all come up with a plan that fits all their objectives, or they're all going to go after their objectives and then just kind of stumble into each other?
Right. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
Because they're supposed to meet on September 1st.
Right, but
what if the story happens kind of prior to that? And since there's 2 weeks and they're basically almost there,
well,
what are the things that could happen in the meantime?
Right. The big reason that I wonder about that is because Kurapika has a strong reason to go to Yorknew, right? From the get go. Right. Leorio, I'm not sure what his reason was. It might have just been to meet back up with them and be like, hey, let's catch up. And we might see something from that in future episodes if they show some Leorio, what he's been up to. But Gon and Killua, they have a different objective now.
Yes.
So, will they get Kurapika and Leorio to help them out? Or will they end up sort of be doing different things just at the same time?
It could be really interesting. I mean, with the idea of an auction also, you have the potential for plot devices basically to be introduced beyond just the characters involved in the auction. So I'm really going to be paying attention to what things are brought up. Because since HunterxHunter likes to seed plot details early, I think this auction is going to showcase some items that will be of importance to remember about later.
That could definitely happen.
Yeah. I'm wondering, though, will Gon's dad be even remotely connected to the auction?
Well, I mean, okay, they need there's the games at the auction.
Right.
Which is why they're going there, and that's related to Gon's dad.
Yeah, but he's probably not going to be there, right?
No, I don't think so.
But
he's not going to make it that easy.
But the thing was is they said that there was rumors that there was a person that was going to be auctioning off a lot of copies of the game, and they made it seem like it was the dad. But if it's not, will that be another member of the Phantom Troupe?
I think so. That might be what they do. If they make it so that all the of the main cast, all the characters present have some reason to be there, and it's all tied to the Phantom Troupe, then they could give them a reason to all be working together, even though their individual objectives are different, because they know that they're still going down the same path.
Right, and the main obstacle in that path is
the Phantom Troupe, and they need to help each other out if they want to have hope of.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think though that if it is the Phantom Troupe that's the main obstacle in their path, I would prefer if it was just Kurapika who was focusing on going through that path.
Right, because they don't the other ones don't really have anything personal against the Phantom Troupe other than Gon and Hisoka. Yeah, all of them in Hisoka maybe a little bit, but mostly Gon.
Yeah, but it would be fun to have an unintentional kind of grouping of them all against the Phantom Troupe in like a 5v13 or 5v12.
Hopefully it's not all of the Phantom Troupe.
Hisoka. But they could also do it to be a thing where Kurapika finds out like which members of the Phantom Troupe specifically are responsible for his tribe.
Sure.
Because I'm guessing that based on the size of the Phantom Troupe, that they don't all go together everywhere all the time.
Yeah, especially since they a lot of people don't like them very much.
Right.
It wouldn't really make sense for them to be going around like a crew, because then kind of gives up their identities, and that's probably kind of an important thing to keep secret.
I think their identities are pretty notorious. It's the idea that everyone kind of knows about the Phantom Troupe, and maybe they don't know necessarily the full names of all the people, but it's like, oh, that small guy, or that big guy, or that one with that weird hair, or that one with that outfit, or what have you. We've seen or heard of them before, but we don't know necessarily who they are, what their techniques are, those details. Yeah. But I would say that they're pretty notorious individually as well as a group. Now, I don't think that they would hold away their identities tightly.
The symbol of the Phantom Troupe is
the spider.
Is the 10-legged spider.
Yep.
And I believe it's on the back as a rule, usually.
Right.
Because for the one dude that was pretending to be part of the Phantom Troupe, it was on his back.
Not a member of the Phantom Troupe.
Yeah. But then Hisoka also had it on his back. So do they do that specifically because they want to keep the fact that they're in the Phantom Troupe a secret?
No, but here's the other thing. Like, the tattoo itself being that shape and that color makes it be like a unique thing that only true members of the Phantom Troupe should see. So the idea that it's like, hey, need proof that you're a member of the Phantom Troupe.
Yeah, exactly.
You show it, you go, oh, okay, you're legit. Right. Because no one could then copy it or what have you.
Yeah, or if they did and they weren't a part of it, there would be consequences.
There would be really big consequences.
It's like the color handkerchief gangs or whatever,
Yes, I know what you're talking about. But with Hisoka, he did somehow copy it. The question is their group managed enough to where when Hisoka shows up with it, is it kind of a survival of the fittest thing where he'll just say, I killed so-and-so and took their tattoo. And they're going to be like, oh, okay.
Or I think it might be something where he basically
took their tattoo. That doesn't make sense.
No, but I think it's more of something where he is like they know Hisoka and who he is. But the thing is, he basically he makes it something that he can take on or take off and put on, because he's not actually he's not very committed to them as a group. He's all for himself, and he wants to, in other words, after he does whatever shenanigans he has planned, he wants to be able to separate himself from the Phantom Troupe and be like, what? No, I'm not one of them.
Ha! Possibly. I still feel like he is playing them in some way. It's just a question of how, and
to what end.
To what measure.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Yes.
Because is he playing for a specific member of the Phantom Troupe to be the one that he goes after or something? Or is he playing the whole group specifically for a certain reason?
Right. And how do they...
It's a good...
How do they, stay organized as a group? Because, okay, there's just the idea that it's all right, we're together, we're the Phantom Troupe, whatever. But if they're all separate and they're all doing their thing, and even with the case
email.
Well, yeah, but that's something that could be like hacked and stuff, right?
No. How would you know whose email is in the Phantom Troupe?
Okay.
It's a self-contained
All right,
thing.
fair enough.
If you want to get like really detail about it, they could have a server that's like completely like locked away and super safe, and they log in and chat amongst themselves. There's a million ways they could do it. This is the world that has all the technology of like post 21st, like post 20th century. Stuff, so they can
but and normally I wouldn't bring that up, except that Killua specifically brought that up when Gon was trying to, what was he trying to do? He was trying to like access the Hunter website, or he was trying to do something, and Killua was like, whoa, don't do that from your home laptop. Like,
yeah, those are hunters, Jacob. It's different. He's talking about hunters, other hunters.
Yeah.
The management of the Hunter Association knowing where he lives. Hunters aren't good people, Jacob.
Right. Yes.
So that's different. The idea is that the Phantom Troupe, they're a tight unit.
Right.
Like, as far as we know, they are the closest thing we've seen to like a professional family.
Right.
The Hunter Association?
No,
nothing.
Exactly.
They are tied to the association itself, but amongst themselves, they'd kill each other probably all the time.
Yeah, right.
And also the URL to that is known probably by all hunters. And that's a lot more hunters than 13 people.
Yes, that's absolutely true. No, I'm not talking about them being worried about an information leak or whatever from within the Phantom Troupe. I'm talking about from outside the Phantom Troupe.
Yeah, but how would you know what to look for? They're not on phantomtroupe. At hotmail.com,
yes.
Jacob.
I realize that. But
so it doesn't make sense.
It still just seems a little insecure. But
no,
that could be how it is.
There's a million other ways too. Like I said. Anyway, the way of them having a group meeting, though, it seems like it's a thing where them being there means that they're probably going to show up all together. And if they're showing up at Yorknew together, I could see that actually being a big deal, where it's like, whoa, they're all in one place, you know? Because as far as we know, they're pretty commonly split up, because the girl with the stitches came to see Hisoka specifically for this job.
Right.
And it was like, oh, okay. And she made no thing of like, why haven't you been, around the Phantom Troupe or what have you?
Yeah.
It's like, meet up with us in Yorknew. Those are the orders.
Right.
I get the feeling that it's a very, not a very dictatorial thing, but they have a very alpha leader kind of situation.
Absolutely. The ending has very much hinted that.
Well, not only that, just the idea that that's how you can keep organization. You have a really, really strong person at the top, and they dictate the way things go. And if you don't follow the way things go, they're going to have the other people who will obey them go and just hunt you down and kill you.
Because as far as, like, from what we've seen, we haven't seen any, like, binding ideology from the Phantom Troupe or anything like that. There could be something like that, but because
money or something like that.
Yeah. But because we haven't seen something of that nature, it could be money, but then that doesn't exactly encourage loyalty. So they probably do
other
need
people's money.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, Jacob.
Yeah. So that does lend to the idea that it would be a powerful figurehead that keeps them in line.
Right. And then maybe some kind of code that they share amongst themselves that is enforced by the high leader or what have you.
Sure.
But the Phantom Troupe being the first official kind of tight woven group that we've seen, tight meaning basically small, but also the idea that they probably have a little bit of loyalty amongst, probably not as much amongst themselves, but more towards their leader or to the troop itself as what it represents. But within the Hunter Association, we've seen all kinds of shady business. So it's rare for them to go this far in the story without having an official organization for the main characters that, has that same level. Basically,
yeah.
the bad guys are the representation right now of the of the tight woven group
camaraderie.
Well, we don't know about camaraderie.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's true. And the heroes themselves are an example of that, even if they're not part of an organization.
Right, but the idea of comparing the Hunter Association with the Phantom Troupe is kind of silly because
it doesn't work.
Of one, their size, but two, also the hierarchy structure is probably such that the Hunter Association lets a lot of hunters just do whatever they want.
Yep.
There's not a lot of oversight. The smaller the numbers, the more oversight there can be.
Most of the people in the Phantom Troupe probably are hunters.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I don't,
because they at least all can use Nen, I'm guessing. So.
Oh, it would be silly if any of them couldn't use Nen.
Yeah.
I think that the reason why the Phantom Troupe are so feared is that they're all terrifying Nen users. The idea of one of them being so strong, potentially, that they're in charge of the whole thing. I think it would be cool to show that there's not just a single leader, that there's some other organization involved in there. But having all of them be feared as a group means that they probably have a reputation, at least, for having very strong Nen users.
And then it's like professional respect amongst each other, you know?
Right, yeah. I like those groups, with professional respect.
Yeah.
Because then you get this idea of, hey, antagonists can have
You're a
friends
badass,
too.
I'm a badass. We can be badasses together.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's like the Injustice League, basically.
Sure.
There's a whole bunch of other groups like that in stories and stuff, but rarely are they used for the bad guys. They're usually reserved for the good guys.
And when they are used for bad guys, it's rare that they're not just used as a
stepping ladder for
the protagonist.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. With HunterxHunter having the story focused on Kurapika and then jumping back to Gon and Killua.
Yeah.
Are they basically going to spend the rest of this kind of section of the story in Yorknew and then kick it off with a little bit of a shift once the auction's about to start?
I don't think so, because they still have the whole getting the item thing that Kurapika needs to do.
So they'll go back to the focus on that before they start the auction.
I think they're going to sort of be jumping around to all of them a little bit, hopefully a little bit with Leorio too.
Yeah.
And then that way, it'll when it's finally moving to Yorknew, there will be clearly defined things that okay, specifically this is what we're going to be doing.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I'm excited.
That's my thoughts.
Yeah.
But this was a good episode.
Yeah, I feel like the last two episodes in particular did something really cool by having the focus shift to Kurapika.
Yes.
He's a character that I think was a little bit stiff and wooden in the beginning, a little bit. But once he started coming into his own and trusting the other people a little bit to share more of his story and kind of where he's coming from, you get the idea that he's still a little bit simplistic in his vengeance bit, but
that's
you can
fine.
See
he cares very strongly.
Right, but you can see the passion and the emotion behind it, which having that little bit of having the little rat girl basically noticing his heartbeat and the rage coming from him in those specific moments. I've seen it done in a lot of other things before, but it was kind of a fun way to go, oh wow, this she can sense that off Kurapika. That stuff's radiating off him.
Yep.
And that's you don't necessarily want to have that kind of thing radiating off you all the time, because imagine having
people
to deal
can pick
with
up
people
on that,
who
and they
are,
might not be
right, because remember how they would reference Hisoka's aura as being very sickly and just kind of maybe what it is this God, I don't remember the Melody, thank you, that Melody is noticing that Kurapika's aura, his aura is very it's pulsating red, just I want to kill things. And Melody's oh wow, this guy is very sound psychologically,
but Melody seems to want to hang around Kurapika,
right, which is a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
Also, we don't know what Melody's Nen usage is.
We don't. We don't even really know what it is that she can do other than, reading people.
Well, she can listen to other people's heartbeats.
Right.
That's That's pretty impressive.
That is definitely
even if
something.
you are close. The idea of being able to hear that is superhuman.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, you could put.
Gone has
head
bloodhound
right
nose, but
the chest of the person. But Gone has
but
his
that's
whole
probably
aspect
enhancing
of that as well.
Oh, maybe that's what she's doing. Maybe she's an enhancer.
Oh, she's enhancing her ears at the time.
Yeah,
perfect.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and that shows kind of the way that Kurapika, he wanted to be an enhancer,
right?
Because he thought that would be very prudent for the type of mission that he's on.
Yeah,
but
so
instead,
maybe
he's got the conjurer skills, and maybe this melody might end up helping him a little bit.
And maybe
that she's the enhancer that he wanted.
Right.
To be.
Well, and maybe the reason that would explain a lot about Melody, because if Melody is an enhancer, that would explain why she seems to be sort of the steady Eddie.
Right.
But also why she wouldn't be worried about the fact that Kurapika is emanating such menacing hatred.
Possibly.
Because it's like, I'll be okay. Like,
Right.
Because, if she's an enhancer, she probably could take care of herself just great.
Okay. Yeah. All right, well, I don't have anything else to discuss in this episode.
Not really. The difference in perspective was really fresh, fresh and just a welcome change, especially since they were jumping it around to a bunch of different ones. So
for sure,
yeah, giving a pulse on things.
Cool. Well, if you want to watch the next 2 Hunter x Hunter reactions, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access, which also gives you access to our Discord, where you can chat with us about storytelling or what have you. And yeah, we'll see you all there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.